reverse these words. We believe love is God. If I believe that I'm being loving by embracing something that God has said is wrong, I'm not loving. Why? Because God is love. It's like Matthew is writing here in these 17 verses. He's writing his own version, like the worst version possible of the worst Christmas song of all time, the 12 Days of Christmas. You've got 4 sinful ladies, 3 fornicators, 2 prostitutes, and a Moabite of incestuous descent. I mean, you could sing that, and I think we ought to do it for our invitation hymn. 4 sinful ladies, 3 fornicators, 2. It would be magnificent. Jesus goes before the Father, interceding on my behalf, and says, Father, my son has sinned. He has sinned. And I know the law, your perfect law, demands that the wages of his sin is death. That's what it demands. That's what your justice demands. But Father, do you see my blood? I've paid for those sins. I've already paid for those sins. And if you demanded 2 payments for 1 price, that would be unjust. And you are not unjust, so I don't plead for your mercy. I call for your perfect justice to be secured and done for this child of mine. How secure is my salvation? It relies on God being just. And if there's one thing I know God is, He is a just God. If the claims of Jesus are true, friends, this is an ironclad, infallible case. That seems prideful to say, well, I'm becoming a better person. No, you're not getting it. It's not you. You're not the one that's becoming better because of your own efforts. You've invited the Father to come in and clean house. Remember the analogy? Your house isn't getting better because you're less of a messy person. Your house is getting better because the maid is awesome. You aren't doing this. He is. Your confidence in your salvation is not in you. It's in Him. What does Noah do for the 100 years that he's out there building an ark? He stands on the steps of that ark and preaches righteousness to the people of his generation. 100 years. How many converts did Noah get in 100 years? Not one. Can you imagine preaching for 100 years and not getting a single convert? And by the way, those people that Noah is preaching righteousness to, are they sitting there listening to Noah and saying, you know, you make some good points? No. What are they doing to Noah for 100 years? They're mocking him. They're making fun of him for 100 years. But Noah realized this. He was not expected by God to turn around an entire civilization of people. What was expected of him? Righteousness, faithfulness. C.S. Lewis scoffed at this idea in a piece that he wrote and said, man, if there is a God, you would not relate to God the way you would relate to a person on the second floor of your building. You don't just walk up the steps and, well, yep, there He is, God's there, and then you come back down. God would be on a completely different level. In fact, how did C.S. Lewis describe it? He said it's not, you don't relate to God as though He's on the second floor of your building. You would relate to God the way that Shakespeare relates to Hamlet. Shakespeare wrote the play Hamlet, right? So does Hamlet have any idea that Shakespeare exists? Well, no, he's in a play. He's got all the other characters around him, and he knows those people, and he knows all of these scenes, but Hamlet can't go into the closet in his room in the play and find Shakespeare in there. He can't go up onto the second story because Shakespeare exists outside of the story that he's writing. You following me? Yes? So, is there any way for Hamlet to actually know Shakespeare? Is there any way he's confined in this play and Shakespeare's outside of it? Is there anything Hamlet can do to get to know Shakespeare? No. The only way he could ever know Shakespeare is if Shakespeare writes himself into the play. That's it. That's what's happening. That's Christmas.